When getting a new watch in for the channel, it's a bit of an unfortunate habit to hone in on all the things quote-unquote wrong with what you've presented with when unpacking. Honestly, it feels a bit unfair sometimes, as watch brands would be very much aware of the compromises they had to make. They send their babies out in the world and hope to get some exposure to an audience that's interested in this extremely niche market. Either way, we'll cover the good and bad today, since that's why you're here, right? Founded in 1918 in Grenchen, Switzerland, Eska built its reputation over the decades through a mix of technical skill, craftsmanship, and thoughtful design. Its watches range from simple three-hand models to complications and even decorative enamel dials, all made with careful attention to detail. In the years after World War II, Eska gained recognition not only in Europe but also in the Americas. To meet increasing demand, the company even established a production site in Brazil. Like many traditional watch brands, however, Eska eventually shut down in 1987 and its name fading away until the recent revival through Kickstarter. When I was asked if I would like to borrow one for review, I had a look and I really liked the personality of the design, but I must admit I looked at the black version online and unpacked this model named the White Shark. I've had it on all week and I have some thoughts. Join me to hear them. The packaging is really quite individual with a custom pelican style box. From what I've seen, colors changes with models, which is not too dissimilar to what you get with pneumatic watches, but of course with some fun colors here thrown in. It always amuses me to get these types of boxes for dive watches, since if anything, water is not a big worry here, unlike say a dainty little dress watch that tends to be delivered in far less robust manners. Covering off the sizes, it is a smidge over 40mm in diameter and 46 lug to lug. Including the crystal, it's 13.5mm thick, and we get a 20mm lug width, which is good for strap changes, which we'll come back to. On the included strap, it weighs in at 84 gram. The bracelet adds another 48 gram. Water resistance is 250 meters, and you get a 2-year warranty. So looking at this watch then, I think it's a rather charming retro vibe on offer here. And at least to me, it oozes charm, and I can just dream myself away to a sailboat off the coast of Nice in southern France. It does look like a faithful reproduction of the Model 600 from 1959. The printed logo at just under the 12 is beautiful, and using the word Amphibian rather than diver or the likes is fun, since yes, this can indeed exist both in the water and on land. At just above the 6 is the rest of the model name of 250 and an indication that this is an automatic watch on your wrist. As you can see, we get 12, 3, 6 and 9 in oversized print, and the other indices are sandwich style as in carved shape to reveal Lume underneath. Unique to this model is that these indexes are adorned with a red color, which according to the website is there to emphasize the sporty aspects of the piece. They missed a trick there in my opinion with a watch that's named after a white shark and clearly has bloody teeth. But perhaps we don't need to further give our shark friends a bad name, so let that one slide or swim. Now the main problem with this color dial and therefore this model watch is the hands. Legibility is subpar unfortunately, where at least 50% of the time they completely disappear against the white background, as in when they are not reflecting a dark color back to you, which does work for instance on the side illumination of studio lights, is absolutely fine, but in the everyday world, not so much. This would not be a problem on the green and black models for instance, but here it really is. They need to be black, which would also tie in with the bezel. I don't want to go on about it too much, but wearing a watch that you can't tell the time on half the time is clearly a fairly crucial issue for obvious reasons. That said, the hands are fun and the big arrow tip that you line up for diving makes sense, and it's again fun. Anyway, the bezel is charming I think, thick and wide to accommodate those oversized digits, and the feel is both precise and it lines up properly. The coin edge might not be the easiest to grip with wet hands, but it's okay. The unprotected screwing crown is large and easy to grip and signed with that lovely E. So like no teacher ever said to me, perfect with no notes. The case with its polished sides and brushed elsewhere is slimmed down in its design and very attractive. Wears well too on the wrist. We do not get jeweled lugs, but no issue there since both the bracelet and strap have quick release spring bars. Flipping the watch over, a nice retro design that fits well here covers up the Salita movement, and I hate to be annoying once again, but on the website it states SW200 and not SW200-1. To watch nerds, the difference between the two is substantial. Better shock resistance and hacking for instance, so it is unwise not to specify this, with Salita also being misspelt and the heading above it also raises a few eyebrows in the context. Anyway, all easy fixes, and since they specify these hacks, it's clearly the -1 movement in use. Bonus points for a proof of regulating the movement supplied with a warranty card. The strap is what I used for most of the filming since to be honest it flatters the bezel more than the bracelet does in pictures. It's your standard nylon affair, reasonable quality and signed buckle. But this bracelet is really fun. It hammers home the retro vibes with its ladder style design and what the brand describes as quick pumps, meaning quick release spring bars adding to the usability. Considering the vintage vibe here, I think it's fine to have a simple pressed clasp friction release buckle and no less than 7 micro adjusts is great. To adjust this bracelet, it's push pins throughout, so short-term nuisance for long-term secure feel. I think the asking price of 145 Australian dollars is quite reasonable, and I like this quite a lot, but I know many of you won't love it, so let's check this out on some very good looking options. The Lume is very good and well done for ensuring the hands last longer than any other elements, which is such an own goal I seem to come across too often. The price of 1,512 Australian dollars or 990 euro is not the cheapest, but certainly not the most expensive either. It does open you up for comparison with some very good micro brands from say Trusca, Baltic, Seiko even, and even second-hand options from Oris, and of course many others, so you're the only one that can answer the question as to how much you like the look. I like it very much, but I would probably not buy this cream dial. I'd go with the black or green because when I wear a watch I like to be able to tell the time without having to hold the watch at a precise angle to facilitate that fairly crucial function in a watch. But again, I think it's an awesome looking watch and I really like it. So what do you think about this charming watch resurrected from the dead? Do let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching and I'll catch you next time.